Hello everyone, it's November 9th, 2008. I'm DVDeM and welcome to our new channel.
He was growing into middle age and was living then in a bungalow on Woodland Avenue. He installed himself in a rocking chair and smoked a cigar down in the evenings as his wife wiped her pink hands on an apron and reported happily on their 2 children. His children knew his legs, the sting of his mustache against their cheeks. They didn't know how their father made his living or why they so often moved. They didn't even know their father's name. He was listed in the city directory as Thomas Howard, and he went everywhere unrecognized and lunched with Kansas City shopkeepers and merchants, calling himself a cattleman or commodities investor, someone rich and leisured who had the common touch. He had 2 incompletely healed bullet holes in his chest and another in his thigh. He was missing the nub of his left middle finger and was cautious lest that mutilation be seen. He also had a condition that was referred to as granulated eyelids, and it caused him to blink more than usual, as if he found creation slightly more than he could accept.
It was the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford, as you can see, and I thought I'd use it as an excuse to show off my Jesse James DVD again because I love it so much. It's such a nice edition. Brad Pitt is rather pretty. So here's Brad Pitt as Jesse James, and is that Robert Ford in the back? I don't recall him wearing that hideous hat in the film, but I'm guessing that's him. It says extraordinary and visionary, a masterpiece. Now I really like this film, which surprised me because watching this I didn't feel like I was watching a western, you know, there wasn't any like gunslinging. For me it was somewhat of a character piece, but you got 2 characters. It took me so long to watch this because it's fairly long, and again with the western thing I wasn't sure I'd like it so much, so I've had it for ages, and then I was just like sitting at the computer doing nothing, and it felt like this film was calling me out, so I had to watch it. It was really weird. I was like, I must watch Jesse James, and I'm glad I did. And this is essentially a book, which I love. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Weasel Stomp showed this in his DVD update. Really cool, he got it. Okay, here's this one. I like this. I like the cover art on here. We have Jesse James here and Robert Ford right at the side, and basically this is Jesse James and his kind of crew. They go around pulling off big bank robberies and stuff, and Jesse James is obviously the famous outlaw, very much respected, very much feared. And by the time Robert Ford meets Jesse James, he's very famous. Robert Ford, or Bob Ford as he's referred to in this film, has got comics of Jesse James. You know, he's really obsessed with him. And there's a picture of Brad Pitt and Casey Affleck, Jesse James and Robert Ford. Robert Ford is this eager young guy. He's like 19. He's obsessed with Jesse James and he just wants to be in his crew, and I guess that appeals to Jesse because he lets him in, much to the annoyance of all his other crew members. And then Robert Ford ends up, you know, accompanying Jesse absolutely everywhere. Jesse James was not the kind of person that he read about. You know, he was an evil man, I guess. He was just pretty horrible. I love the pictures in this book. There's a snake. Jesse James cuts his head off. There's his wife, Jesse James's wife, played by Mary Louise Parker, who's in Weeds. She doesn't really say much, but apparently Jesse James's real wife was his cousin. So essentially we follow Robert and Jesse in the film, or Bob and Jesse. Brad Pitt plays Jesse James incredibly well. He is a man who everybody fears, and for a good reason. When Brad Pitt walks into a room, or he's in the room in the scene, it becomes all of a sudden very tense, and you kind of fear what's going to happen, and it gives you that feeling of waiting for a scare to happen in a horror film. And for me, it was really scary watching Brad Pitt. He did a really good job, and you actually feared for like Bob Ford and all the guys around him, even when they'd done nothing wrong. There's Brad Pitt looking rather lovely. And there he is playing with his wife and his kids, and he is very nice around his kids, as all these outlaws usually are. So basically, during the course of the film, all of the members of the Jesse James gang, they start getting caught by the police. Jesse James is always really smart and manages to move away before the police get him. A lot of them are shot dead, or they've just kind of drifted away. So he wants to do another bank robbery, or a train robbery, I think, and he enlists Robert Ford and Robert's brother Charlie. At this point, Robert is really scared of Jesse James because he's starting to act crazy, he's getting ill, and he's paranoid all the time, and he's making him feel like he's going to kill him. So basically he's kind of working for the police to get Jesse, but he's also in Jesse's plan, and there's loads of scenes where it's just really tense, that you feel like that Jesse knows what's happening, and that the two brothers are in cahoots with the police. It's very tense, and then it all comes to head, and the assassination finally takes place, and he shoots Jesse when Jesse's back's turned and he's unarmed, and I guess that's why he got the name Coward. After Jesse's death, Robert Ford and his brother Charlie start doing stage enactments of how they shot Jesse James. They did it hundreds of times, hundreds of people in theatres. I think they were given a pardon for shooting Jesse James because he was, such a wanted man, so they weren't sent to prison. And somebody in the crowd yells out, "You're a coward," and that sticks, and he then becomes the coward Robert Ford, and he's kind of hated because people still held Jesse James as this amazing man, even though he's this wanted outlaw. And then at the end of the film, Robert Ford is assassinated, and that scene at the end, the ending is just a really good ending. It's shot beautifully. The cinematography in this film is lush, and there's a narration as well throughout the film, and the narration at the beginning, that's what really hooked me in, and everything the narrator says about Jesse James, it starts to unfold as you watch him. I really like that.
Rooms seemed hotter when he was in them. Reins fell straighter. Clocks slowed. Sounds were amplified. He considered himself a Southern loyalist and guerrilla in a civil war that never ended. He regretted neither his robberies nor the 17 murders that he laid claim to. He had seen another summer under in Kansas City, Missouri. And on September 5th, in the year 1881, he was 34 years old.
So I thought Jesse James was a brilliant film, one everyone should check out. It's really good. Brad Pitt is brilliant, as I said. Casey Affleck is really good. I can't recall seeing him in anything that he stood out for me in, but in this he really played Robert Ford as he should be played, basically. As I said, it looks beautiful, it's really good cinematography, and the whole story is brought together really well. Definitely recommend you see The Assassination of Jesse James, and that's it for me. Hope I didn't bore you to death. Peace out.